Hello, good morning, Welcome to another US Futures trading stream. Today is Wednesday or Thursday, December 4th. It is 9:23 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. Okay, what trading is about? Trading is about change. Straight to the point. What has changed relative to yesterday, for example? Right? Since I am, or since I am in the business of short-term trading, I am mostly going to trade, or I'm not going to say almost exclusively, but exclusively just the intraday time frame and very specific time frame. I trade from the opening to the close. This is in certain occasions, I will do some after or before, but those occasions are very rare and sparse. It has happened that today I did something in the pre-market based almost exclusively in what happened yesterday. One of the main observations from yesterday that I have, right? One of the main pieces of information that I have from yesterday is this low pullback for both markets, right? We have Nasdaq and the ES, or ES and Nasdaq doing the exact same thing. When early today in the morning I checked what the other indices were doing, I came to see that the only one that did not have that pullback, this pullback we have here late in the afternoon, ES here, Nasdaq over on the right upper side, the Dow on the right lower side. The Russell did not have that thing. Okay, yeah, there is something here. I mean, something interesting at least. Right, and coming into the opening, or just moments before the opening, while I was watching this market, really, just observing, having breakfast early today, I saw something happening here that prompted me to action here. And what it was is, exactly the same thing that happened yesterday. Your trading is about change, and nothing has changed relative to yesterday. We have a terrible, weird, trending day in all markets. With, if you remember what happened in the overnight or in the pre-market here, we have a significant break, right? That happened in the pre-market just before the opening. That took the whole range of the overnight session. That overnight session is gone. Now we have a very prominent POC again, right? Very prominent POC. Saddle, right? Kind of like we can see saddle is above or right at the upper side of the value area of the overnight session, which means meaning that most of the trade was to the downside, right? Inventory was short, and we have this spike, right? And I was really observing where the market can open relative to that late pullback low. Also, we have important volume coming at the close in both markets, right? Coming right at the close and after the close in the run-off period in the ES. Right, and as the market started to have this spike, I say, it just couldn't, man, I know what's happening here. At least I thought I knew what was happening here. The same kind of behavior, the same kind of traders doing the same thing. Traders will do what works over and over, over and over, until it doesn't work anymore. And what worked yesterday was that spike just before the opening, and we have another spike right before the opening again. Okay, we have some accumulation up here in Nasdaq. That level is the right where it is the I would say 710, something like that. Okay, 710. You just can see that this number here, right? 710, and the ES is 68, 80, 70, something like that, 80, something like that, right? And just minutes or 1 minute before the opening, notice where this late pullback is. Notice that this upper, a really weak high, a weak base for this break has been corrected at market's opening, not just above late pullback low, but above yesterday's high, and potentially going into a new session with an upside gap. That will give the ES two gaps in the lower side. I don't have too much time now to talk about this, but let's see if there is something here, right? I'm going to be checking. Alright, market's open. I want to see if this market can close this gap. Oh boy, the gap has been closed. Okay, gap has been closed. Una bella mañana. Gap has been closed, which is not the risk. To begin with, the risk is, I consider the risk being high here for any kind of trade. That hasn't changed also. That has not changed also. Okay, I have removed the overnight session for both markets. I mean for the ES. Chart settings. I was kind of like had a little bias to the upside, but the market closing the gap just make me hesitate to have any kind of long here. I will have to. I will give the market some time to settle here. And the risk that I see here is these formations here. Remember, the potential for firecracker effect the market has not. The Nasdaq has to hold this area, the area that pretty much the upper side. The ES, I think the ES looks the same. Let me check. Yeah, ES is the same. Okay, but momentum, momentum is to the upside. Una bella mañana. If you do, let me do something. What is EpiPen? Okay, I like the EpiPen. It doesn't erase. What the heck are you, man? Oh, here. I don't care. How the heck I move this? I don't want to have it there. Oh, here. Let's put it here on this side. It doesn't. Yeah, no, the risk. The risk now is that as the market closes the gap or goes back inside previous day range, one of the things that I am one of the well, if when the market comes back inside this range here, the potential target actually is the opposite side of the range. Okay. Same goes for the ES, for Nasdaq, because Nasdaq has both markets open with a gap. The market has closed the gap right away, has come back inside previous day range, has come back inside 2-day range. I mean, even this one here as well, right? And the potential destination is the opposite side of that range. You can see how fast things have changed. Now we are at the notice how different these two markets are now, where the ES is just entering the high of this range. Okay. Nasdaq has already taken the late pullback low here. Very misleading, right? Can you see this? That's a small trade movement just before the market opens. It's very misleading. This is a correction on the way here in Nasdaq. All right, really fast. Okay, let's see if these ones can be taken as well. And the 5 cracker potential is underway in Nasdaq. Let's see if these ones are taken as well. All of these weak references that we have from yesterday now have been checked, have been corrected. This is a look above. This can be, I don't know if this is yet, but it can be a look above and failure. Remember, watch out this lower side here. It's really building. How many points? Like there's 200 points in Nasdaq. I mean, really fast. Okay. This part, I want to see this part is next. This one, this little late laggards coming or building the trend that we have yesterday. This one has been corrected, has been checked. Remains to be seen if these ones are going to be shaken as well. We have an outside day, a look above and failure coming from the opening. What about volume? Volume only 5 minutes and we have almost half of yesterday. This can be a good day volume wise in the ES. Market overall also has maybe like a 30% of yesterday's volume so far. But we are just starting. This is not a good sign. And you have seen that live, right? And that's one of the important elements here. Just check this out. This is really nice what we have here. Notice well the volume that we had yesterday at close came, and where the market has stopped. And the difference between these two markets is many times, you may have something right. I mean, if you trade in Nasdaq, right, you may have the right mindset or the right approach, but it just can't go against you for such a long distance here, man. You can be way underwater, but it still can be right, and whatever you may think. may be thinking. Okay. This I want to say something. I want to talk something about. Oh, come on. Let me put this big pen in here. Here. About Nasdaq here. This is very interesting. Oh, the other thing, the other piece of information that I was checking here was, remember how yesterday, just before the opening, I mean, I didn't, I don't think I didn't, no, I did that when the market was way underway, right, after noon, after midday. And what I have noticed today is that these markets are not in sync. Today are not in sync, no? Or were not in sync as we approached to the open. There was a gap in Nasdaq, and ES also we have a gap, and very narrow range for the Dow here. As look above also, maybe potential target in this, I still don't know. This is the strongest. This is stronger than these two. This is the Dow, and because the late pullback low is still there. This market has not even touched or getting closer. Unlike Nasdaq that went back and forth throughout the overnight, the same thing for the ES, right? And the weakest one being this time Rosa. The other thing, the other piece of information here was, as we get to the opening, as we get close to the opening, I see this huge, right? This huge short covering, this huge pullback or rally that the bond market had after it opened, and just have attempted a sell-off here. Both of them, the 15 and 30 here. This is something that catches my attention. There can be some wild movement, right? Coming into today's session. All right. Oh, both markets and the bulk of these volumes that we have. Nasdaq started early in the session yesterday. Notice where it has stopped, right here, right above this area, which can be, we were going to draw a parallel to the ES, can be this thing that is happening in the ES. All right, coming back coming back into the previous range is not a good sign for any kind of trading that I would like to do to the upside. Notice we have this, how many day range? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day. I mean the 4-day range, maybe even 6, right? Make this smaller. Yeah, 6. Yeah, 6-day range. Actually, that I would call it a 6-day range. That is what. Actually, that is what we were calling it yesterday, a 6-day range, and we talk about why. Okay, this is the gap, and then this is the gap, the years, and this is, and this one here is the 5-day range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-day range. The ES has look above. This can be a nice take. Look above, and it's come back inside the range. Let's see if it has acceptance inside the range. It has look. It's coming back, not just after looking above, but it's coming back inside this 3-day range as well. Right? Once he even has acceptance below this one here. So far, I am still positive, right? Here. Let's check Nasdaq, and I'm going to close Nasdaq. I'm going to close the overnight. I am also going to close this yesterday's profile, because this week questionable marks are now have been repaired. Late laggards coming by in the market, maybe FOMO. No, this is typical FOMO. Value is higher. I don't have nothing else up here. So both long and short, so from the overnight, have been shaken in Nasdaq. Holding these two heavy areas of buying in Nasdaq, and this one is being held also in the ES. It's being Now let's check how much time you got half into this period. Look at where this volume is, right? This is what it was yesterday. If this continues, we expect the market coming all the way up to here, and that will give us maybe like a 20-30% higher volume. And the selling, right? This is what I am tracking. I'm trying to track, right? Selling that comes, heavy volume that comes into the market, right? It is in nobody's interest to kill a market. If I am a seller, I don't want the market. I don't want the market to break. I don't want the ES to break 300 points in one day. This just, I cannot feel my positions there. If of course, I'm talking about me, right? About institutional money, right? The final entry is going to be too far from the first entry. You know, the spread is going to be too big, and that's something that nobody wants, right? So that's how smart money moves. Now, the other way around is also true, but I have not been seeing that happening. One of the things that I'm watching or observing on the characteristics of these days has been very short time frame trading and heavy volume coming during the selling, when the market, or during the selling part, or when the action was to the downside. All right, there is something here. All right. Look at this, what's happening here. Look at this, beautiful. Control Shift 3, nah, I just want to do this. You have volume here, whites, volume, whites. This one is stronger than this one here. It may take more time. If there is anything to the downside, going through this area, this part of the channel, it's going to take more time. You know? Have you been caught by FOMO? Oh, okay, this market is going so far, so fast. I'd rather go short here, right? But which was the trade actually, if you were scalping the market, but got to be aware also, right? You know, that's what discretionary trading is about. What's got to be aware of the situation, of the context of the movement, where the movement can stall, when you can expect some back and forth, some back, which is feeling, right? Instead stepping, and so you can monitor. So you can monitor the trade. Okay, the ES has taken the late pullback low. Let's see if the overnight low is taken. Something that I realized, I was trading on the laptop, so I need a mouse here. I really need a mouse. I thought I was going to be able to do it with the pad on it, but it's kind of like too risky. The market gave me a chance to place my stop and to trade my position, but I was kind of risky though. I would rather do that with a mouse than with just a pad. Okay, now this is what I'm checking. Let me see if I can increase. Wait a minute before I go over there. Okay, there's some monitor. Something's coming here. What the heck? Oh, look at! Oh boy! Not on volume, very high volume. Huh. This is one of these indicators working here. This is studies, no indicator, but the studies. Oh, this is from yesterday. Very curious, right? Notice how this volume. Negative. This is a bit. Negative is to the downside. Let's double check that. Uh-oh. Actually, no, negative is ask and beat, so that would be positive here. Right? Positive, actually to the upside. Negative is to the upside. I had this just today. No, I didn't have just today. I saw just today. Actually, this I want to leave the studies there today, or as the market continues. Okay. Now I want to say something here about what's happening. Notice what we all can see what's happening, right? There is selling that's coming into the market. Selling, why? Because the market is moving lower. Right? The positions that are on the selling side are higher than the positions that are on the buying side, and volume has matched yesterday's volume during the first period. It seems like we still have 10 more minutes to go. That's 1/3. So if I break this in two, we may have volume like this at the close. I want to see if that happens. Right? If this part materialize, or if it stops. On the past couple days, what I've noticed is there's heavy volume coming during one specific period. It happened yesterday before the opening. The day previous was, I believe, in the third or fourth period, and the same thing, the same kind of pattern repeating in previous sessions as well. Not gaining much. Nasdaq is not gaining much. Its volume is accumulating. Volume is accumulating here in this part. Has not gotten into this area. At least not yet. There is something there. Let's see if this one comes. This part. Oh, come on, man. I want to make it up to here. Oh, 1, 2. This is half. This would be 30%. Another 30%. Kind of like about that. No, that's too much. This is better. It's really hard. It's really hard to stand and let the market settle. Sometimes you just have to act. See the opportunity. If I feel like I am sure that something is going to work, my feels, well, now my feels instinct, if I feel I have that feeling is okay, be careful here, right? Be very careful here, because that's what the market wants me to feel. If I am rather uncomfortable, I rather prefer that feeling, right? Feeling that, oh boy, this, you don't feel good. That is a good trait. Feeling, and one of the most important things that I have learned in the journey, along the journey, is, I have to learn to feel comfortable with being uncomfortable. The Dow that has been the strongest, the one that has the better odds, or the one that's reflected of had looked like the strongest one, has really started to break. Kind of hard back into previous range. Same thing going with Russell. But this market is holding really good here. Nasdaq. And do you notice here now? Do you notice what has changed and what is different now relative to yesterday? Okay, I hear something. What happened here? Okay, something has come. Something is coming here. Something is coming. Notice what's coming here. Right? Notice I got some volume coming in Nasdaq around this area. And this is yesterday. Now, is this going to keep going higher? I am disregarding this part. Okay. Will I see something coming higher and higher, or will this be something that is going to make a stand and start chewing its way down here? Don't know. Remember, yesterday was a terrible, weird, really kind of ugly, one of the worst trending days that I have seen in a while. So that will give me 200, how much? 200, above 200,000 contracts. Oh, that's not going to happen. We have only for less than 3 minutes to go. It seems like we cannot reach the 200,000 mark. Look at how much we have. We have 156,000. Let's see. Ooh, more volume is coming here. Huh? God, this is interesting. Huh? Same accumulation. We have like 4 times 4 levels where volume show up. Really nice. We have the same amount here. This is not looking good, man, for any kind of longs here. So okay, yeah, this part is the next one on the low side on the ES. Very questionable buying, right? That happened here, which is this level here. This is the 6850, around 6850. Correcting this mark needs the market taking the value area low, right? And if it comes down here, probably it can come somewhere to somewhere around this area, because it has a tendency to overshoot its way down, maybe for 5-10 points towards here. I wouldn't be surprised if all of this range is retraced here. But notice how the speed, right, the pace at which the market is trading now has changed relative to the opening. One more minute, 165,000. It is higher, but not as I expected it would be. De esas dos mañanas. Notice, check this out, how there's no volume down here when this period printed. I wasn't in the market. I don't know how it happened, how this was. This is the relevance of being present, right, versus not being present is when if you are not in the market, you don't see how all this trade happen, which this is my belief, that's the most important thing. What I can observe is there is absolutely nothing here, but I don't know if this was when the market was going lower or as the market started its way high. This one here. Una bella mañana. I might try something here. Let me see if we can get something. I mean, the first time the market, you have this volume, right? The first time the market checks this one, there's probably get something to the downside. But I want to see continuation, right? If I got into this trade, this low has to be taken, right? And it starts showing it starts showing taking these lows out. No, that's a way to monitor towards this accumulation that I see down here. I am focused on this part of the charts. I have context. I have my TPO charts. I have volume. I also have daily histograms. Notice notice. Okay, you have this. If there's anything to the downside, right? Then notice what the volume is, when it ends, right? This is the last one, right? If the market keeps going lower, ooh, okay. Check this out. Check what we can have here. Look at that. That's the daily. Okay. I have something down here, but I need to see if the market keeps going lower. I need to see volume coming, more reds and purples coming as the market goes lower. Man, the tempo has just so slow now. Tempo is so slow here. If you have any questions? Have you got any trade? Now, if volume remains higher, now I have this pattern, right? Next thing, this market must print not here but higher than this. So if I have 10% here, seems like 15%, something like that, right? 15% will be a little bit higher here. If it prints the same, that means volume is decreasing, but there's a caveat here, right? Volume would be higher. Let me move this one for this. Mark over here. Volume is so important, it can give us tremendous information. Let me copy and move. I should have the same. If this one is here, if the current period prints volume up to here, while it is higher than yesterday, it will not keep the pace. Okay, if this volume, the volume that I have in the first period is, let's say, 10%, 15% higher. I don't care how much it is, but I exactly how much it is. I know this. I can see it's higher than yesterday. About that amount, all right, 10, 15%. If I just move this, I just move the reference, the frame reference to the next period to keep that pace, the same 10 or 15%, the market must print higher than this. Otherwise, it will be decreasing. It won't be 10 or 15%, but let's say it can be maybe 8, 9, 10%. It's still higher than yesterday, but going, with the slope going to the downside. That's kind of tricky too. Those are the things that I have a tendency to observe. The same pattern, the same behavior is being reflected in the market overall. I have my NICE composite volume on my other screen is slightly higher. It's not that much really, maybe 5% higher. Una bella mañana. No. I got something here. I got something to the downside. I don't wanna be. It's not working. It's trying to go lower, but it is some buying that's coming here. Let's see if that buying goes away. Otherwise, I will need to close this position. And I'm out.
Order filled.
Didn't work. I got a short because I saw this position here, this shape, right? Accumulation on the lower side. I might try another one. I might try a second time here. This may need a small rally. Man, the tempo here is so bad here. Okay, look at this, how it's checked, this area has been checked. Let's see if this rally overcomes this accumulation here. Let's see if it comes down below here. Alright, let's move all the stops. Let's see if I can catch this movement as much as it can. I did sell something here as the market get close to this area. Close to this area because I don't want this area to be taken here. I'm kind of scalping. I don't like that I am scalping here. When you scalp emotions around high, I can also, there's something else that I can do here. You know, I think my day is I can consider my day down, right? But the thing is, if you're doing good, man, why walk away? It doesn't have, man. It doesn't have the power here. Yeah, I'm going to maximize. I'm going to highlight it. I want to highlight something. Notice how volume now, right? This is volume for previous period, right? We are almost like halfway through the second period. Okay, and volume yesterday half into the second period was about this high. Notice what it is now, about the same area, which means that if the pace continues, we can actually have lower volume at the close of the second period, and that is change, right? So this volume that has come during the second period as the market went lower is not having downside continuation. Volume wise, I'm talking just about volume here because that's what I'm monitoring with these charts here. Again, the pattern of selling, heavy selling in very specific periods of the session is repeating here. You know, some things are changing and others remain unchanged. What the heck? Why do I have this green dot here? No, that was the opening of this day. Although yesterday. Oh boy, it's the same. Gosh, what the heck? Oh, the same. Is this a... Can you see the profiles? I've not just noticed that it's kind of like a copy and paste, right? And what is today? Today is up here. Very nice trade, man. Very nice business here. Do you notice how the market? Can you see how the market drags you? If you just pay attention to price, probably you will be looking to the upside today. And yesterday, what may have kept the market going higher and higher is just really shorting the market after they have witnessed that sell-off just before the market opened, right? And now can be the same thing, right? But this time in the opposite direction. I have been in both sides of the market today, right? I got some loans as this market, printed this spike, and I was to the downside when I saw this formation here, volume drying as the market tried to challenge this area of accumulation of volume. And when I also saw Nasdaq not trading through this volume here, remember this is typical short-term trading, right? In Nasdaq at least, that's what I'm learning. And the first time the market challenged these areas, usually there's some, in this case, selling, right? If this was yesterday, for example, I may see some buying opportunity here, right? The market gets closer to this area, right? People often forget this area as well. Most people don't even see these things, right? The vast majority of short-term traders will see only, or will pay attention only to this kind of charts, right? And not just that, but will be something like this. What is the ES here? Listen. It will be something like this, huh? And I just have bar or candlesticks like that. But there's very the information that we can get from these bar charts are very limited, right? I have this low here, for example. Oh, I have something here. I don't know what the heck is this. If I got volume, I mean, how can I relate? How can I compare this volume, for example, to this volume here? I don't know if this is 930, for example. Huh? Oh, okay, this was the pre-market, and this is the current period. No, notice how high it is. I can compare period to period here, but not the accumulation as I have in here, which I consider more important, more relevant in any case. Okay, I will let this market alone. I think there are some odds here. There's mixed information actually, but I guess the main thing now for me is that I have this range, right? That the potential target in this opposite side of this range. Right? First this one, then this one, this one, and ultimately the gap that we have here below. For Nasdaq, it is different, but kind of like about the same thing. We got 2 days. Notice where value is pretty much. Oh, actually, it's overlapping lower. Huh. Interesting. What? Wait a minute. Okay, this is something I haven't seen. No, it's overlapping. I thought it was overlapping lower, but it's overlapping. What I mean is, let me maximize this chart. What I mean is, previous day was here, and the value of yesterday actually overlapped previous day. Now this value is coming back inside. If traders can move or place value inside this range, that will give some validity or some relief to the shorts. But if this market rallies a little bit and actually builds value overlapping to this part here, okay, this area, right, you have value here. Now today we have value building slightly higher. What I want to see is if the shorts can actually move this value inside this range and even further, making overlapping lower. That's a weak market. If they cannot do that and value rather stays higher, that is looking for problems. Right now, the market is back inside the 2-day range, potentially targeting the opposite side of such range. This is the ultimate destination of the current action. If this is achieved, if this movement is achieved, we have another 2-day range just below that range. This is the first 2-day range, this is the second 2-day range, and the same thing happening. We have overlapping value in this range as well. Coming back inside this range, targets this low. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but behind every piece of information, or around every trade, the position I take, there is a reasoning. Usually there's something there. Now, the other piece of information that I had coming into this opening is the late pullback low from yesterday. Okay, remember, for both markets, late pullback low at where the market opened relative to this piece of information. Okay, for both markets, where the market it opened higher, which means that there was no change relative to yesterday, which means that what I have seen yesterday as the market did this movement, was some rebalancing of the really weak long inventory that we have observed. Now check this out. Okay, as these markets go lower, the ES has already taken this low out. That hasn't happened in the Nasdaq. As this market gets lower, notice that we have less than 5 minutes, or about 5 minutes, or around 5 minutes into this session, and where volume is, it's not going to reach this mark. That's going to represent the same increment relative to the first period, which was about 10-15%. Not even yesterday's volume, but even but lower than that. All right, it's lower than that. Now, as we speak, the volume that we have here, and Nasdaq during the first period, we are having something here to the downside. There's a pattern here now, right? A pattern here. We had a pattern to the upside yesterday, early in the session. Now we have something here. Really tricky markets, man. Really tricky markets. You have any comments there? Where are you? Ooh, look! Oh, did you see? Gosh, oh boy. I missed this. Really missed this movement. I'm going to let this market alone. I'm going to keep. I was trying to get a short here. I did something here as the market reached this area here. But I did not take advantage of this downside movement. Alright guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Very slow market. This market has no conviction, right? I have put out there what all my thoughts. I've tried to organize them. I hope it helps. But it's the way how this market is trading is something I don't like that much. Okay, this area and this area, these stops here are being actually more stops are being added to this area. Yeah. This market can make a, maybe can make a stand here. The current action is to the downside. Relative contradicting pieces of information are coming to the market, and that only shows or highlights the lack of confidence that these markets are having, which is reflected, which can be seen or can have an impact on the way how the market moves, and actually can give us maybe too much chop. We may have wrong approach. We may have a right approach to the market, but the chop can be just too much, right? And we can be easily stopped out of our positions. If you have a positive day so far, that's good, and you got to be very careful to not to fall into the red here. All right, I have a day. I'm going to call it a day here. If I see anything else of relevance, I will just be back on the stream later. Otherwise, I will wish you guys a wonderful rest of the day. Stay safe, and oh, look at this, man. Yeah, but this is something really interesting here. This is the second time that Nasdaq is coming back into this area. The drying that happened during this period, during B, has not been respected, I would say, in the years. But it is actually adding volume in this area. The high is right at settle. Pullback, late pullback low is being taken here. I want to see if this market starts building value above or below this reference, the late pullback low here. Very tricky, kind of like a low confidence market. Oh, ha ha ha, look at this. Look, B, okay? B has had trying here, and C has the opposite. This is not good for shorts. Look at Nasdaq now, man. Nasdaq is taking this high out, is about to take this high out. The action is about to change. The action has changed in Nasdaq already. This high has been taken. Oh boy, this feels like watching a football game, man. You know, if I had a short here, if I was on the long side in the pre-market, okay, for this closure. I saw that. I say that early in the spring, in the stream. Later on, I was on the short side here, as the market rejected this area. Now, I don't want to be short here. There's some change, some weakening of this action to the downside. So I'm going to leave this market alone. This can be a good, probably this can be, remember when I say that got to feel comfortable with being uncomfortable? This can be the early stages of something here. I don't want to be in the wrong side here. I just think the risk is high, remains high. I'm going to trade the market I have in my screens, not the market I wish I had. Alright, have a wonderful rest of the day. Stay safe. I wish you the best. Bye bye.